Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the Orly Great Escape collection for summer 2023. There are 6 polishes here altogether. These are available right now, so I will link the Orly website down below where you guys can check these out, and then we'll get into the swatches. The first polish is called A Whim, and Orly describes this as a citrus lime cream. This was a little sheer on the first coat, but it was pretty even for the most part. A couple of little streaks and uneven spots, but really very, very minor. It built up pretty well on the second coat, but I did still have some of those minor uneven spots that I wanted to see if I could cover completely. The third coat did cover completely, though I think that a lot of people would probably be okay with this in 2 coats, especially on shorter nails. So that is 3 coats of A Whim. The next polish is called Close Call, and this is described as a teal shimmer. This is a very frosty pearl finish kind of shimmer, which unfortunately are very trendy right now, but I really don't like them. Good coverage here on the first coat, but you do want to be aware of those brush strokes. You want to make them as straight as possible so it looks a little bit cleaner. You can also sponge that last coat on, which will give you a slightly different, more even texture. I also see people taking dotting tools and swirling it in the pearl finishes to give them a different look. I tried to do it with this one and I just ended up kind of digging into the previous coat. I've only seen it done with gel. I'm sure there's a way to do it with regular polish, but it did not work when I tried it. This did easily cover completely for me in 2 coats. So that is 2 coats of Close Call. The next polish is called Follow the Map, and this is described as a coral pink shimmer. This is another frosty pearl finish, but the brush strokes don't seem to be quite as bad in this one. I actually don't hate it as much as I was expecting to, and really good coverage in this on the first coat. The second coat did cover completely for me. Again, you still want to try to make those brush strokes as straight as possible. They're not as bad as the last polish, but you'll definitely still see them, especially if they're really crooked. And they do blend in a little bit as the polish dries, but not much. So that is 2 coats of Follow the Map. The next color is called Lost Treasure, and this is described as a medium blue shimmer. This is another very frosty pearl finish with a lot of brush stroke texture in it. It does cover really well on the first coat. In the past, I would only really notice bad brushes if they were really affecting how the polish went on, so I don't know if I'm more sensitive after noticing a bunch of bad brushes when I did my Holo Taco review or not, but a lot of the brushes in this collection, they weren't really affecting the application, but you could see by looking at them that they were cut very unevenly. This covered easily for me in 2 coats, and again, you just want to be really conscious of how straight you're doing those brush strokes. So that is 2 coats of Lost Treasure. The next polish is called Embrace Danger, and this is described as a fiery coral red shimmer. Okay, so I like this much more than I expected to. The brush strokes aren't nearly as bad as I was expecting them to be, and I really like the color of this. It's much more glowy and just a lot cooler looking than I was expecting. Also, really good coverage on that first coat, and then this also covered completely for me in 2 coats. Again, you want to watch those brush strokes. They're much more minor in this polish, but if they're really crooked, you're still going to see it. Well, you're still going to see them anyway, but if they're really crooked, they're really going to stand out. So that is 2 coats of Embrace Danger. And the last polish is called Off the Grid, and this is described as a cobalt cream. This one is incredible. The coverage is fantastic. You could probably get away with 1 coat if you're not too picky. It wasn't quite 1 coater coverage for me, but after you've used this polish a couple of times and it gets just a little bit thicker, just in general from use, it's definitely going to be a 1 coater. Formula is great on this one, covered easily in 2 coats. I've seen a lot of comparisons that show that this is pretty close to the original Sally Hansen Pacific Blue. I'll do something in a short or something about that, but I know I've seen a lot of other comparisons that already show it's pretty close. So that is 2 coats of Off the Grid. So I'm going to come in here and completely redo my outro because sometimes I film my intros and outros before I've actually swatched the polishes and just try to make an educated guess on which ones I'm going to like, and sometimes I'm really wrong and then I have to scrap the entire outro and refilm it, which I don't have time to do right now. So voiceover it is. Obviously Off the Grid is going to be by far the favorite. The formula is fantastic. It goes on super well. It will easily be a 1 coater, I think, after a few uses, and it's really close to the original Sally Hansen Pacific Blue, and if you've been into polish for a long time, you know how crushed we all were when that got discontinued. But I also have to give an honorable mention to Embrace Danger because I really hate the frosty pearl polishes, and the fact that they're trendy again is slowly chipping away at my soul, but I liked this one so much more than I expected to. The brush strokes were definitely there, but they weren't so egregious that I was grossed out by it, and I really like how glowy the color was. So that is the Orly Great Escape collection for summer 2023. Again, I will link the Orly website down below where you guys can check those out. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.